think it's recording. This is recording. Okay. All right, if you want to call the meeting to order?
Yeah, we might as well. What is it, 3 minutes after 4, 4 minutes after 4?
Yeah.
I ticky-tacky gives me general time. All right, we'll call the meeting to order, and Clinton, would you call the roll, please?
President Priester,
I'm here.
Vice President Treasurer Parks, Commissioner Bond.
Here.
And Commissioner Goodman.
Here.
And Commissioner Tomaszewski is not here yet. I'll just make it absent until she arrives. And
Amendments, Clinton?
no amendments at all. So next would be our public comment then.
Okay, are we on number 3? Public, would you like to comment on any agenda items? Thank you.
Okay.
Consent agenda.
Oh, I think I hear a door opening. It might be Kelly.
Financial statements, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Just a second, Dale.
Motion to approve?
Hold on.
Oh, wait.
And there's Kelly.
All right, here we are.
Come on down, Kel. Come on up, Kel.
We have to be up front?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, you get a leather chair, or
Yeah.
leather, whatever.
And you get to be on TV.
Hi there.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
See ya.
You too.
On your way up on the lift when we call the meeting to order, welcome.
We're right here.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second?
any discussion?
The consent
If not-
agenda had the financial statements on too, so you doing just the minutes or doing the,
Oh, Clint, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm sorry. I had the wrong minutes up, or wrong. Pack it up.
Any other comments? If not, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are on to
Who,
old business of which there is none.
who seconded?
Jim,
Jim? Okay. Yes, we are now on to new business.
Resolution 2206, adoption of the 1000 and 1001 board policies and procedure, of which there were pages and pages and pages.
If we put it on the table, then I can answer any questions and,
make a motion to approve.
I
okay.
have a motion from Doug
Second.
Parks to
And,
adopt, the second
Okay.
from James
All right.
Bond.
the 1001.01 is our codification system internally, so that we can easily find things.
I was gonna pull it up, but it's easier to see it this way, thank you. Yeah.
This policy, as I stated in the executive summary, pulls together policies that we've had over the years and updates the board policies and procedures to match current HUD expectations and, regulations, and also brings it in line with the NARO Commissioner Handbook Publication 3. And it's been reviewed and partially written by Naomi Burns from EJP Consulting that helped with our, or that is helping with our RAD conversion, and also by Melissa Warden, our RAD conversion attorney from Reno and Kavanaugh, so that we had the most up-to-date expectations from HUD.
Anybody have any comments? If not, no. All those in favor of 2022-06 adoption, aye.
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 Any opposed? Resolution B under new business, 2022-07 adoption of 1102 succession plan policy update.
Put a motion on, and I can provide some back
Approved.
I
on. Doug, okay.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, all right.
As I stated in the executive document, section of that document is that it was, I think about 18 months after my arrival in 2005 that the board first adopted its first succession plan, because at that time, all the members of the board were appointed because the other board had been terminated because of the embezzlement of the previous director. And they all had to figure out not only to hire an executive director, but to bring the place into compliance with HUD and get money to match what needed to be done and all those. And they didn't want themselves to ever be in a place like that again, nor any future board. And there's been different versions over time. And this is the most succinct update that we have right now. So what we've done with this one is solidified the plan of the deputy director, whoever is in that position, becomes the immediate executive director under certain circumstances, temporarily or permanently. And the board then hires a new deputy director, the site always being on a one in waiting to come on. So there's always continuity, and there's always the knowledge base, and never again being in the place of what do we do if something terrible happens to the organization. And this policy too was also vetted by Melissa Warden for us.
I'm having a hard time finding the page that one was on. Do you happen to know which one page that was on? There was a couple questions I had.
Yeah, let me get to the resolution. Begins on page 301, and the document begins on page 303.
So I heard you in that explanation say that the process of, there is a assistant to the, let's see, the executive director and, what did you say the other?
Deputy director, which right now Lindsay is our named deputy director. And so if in the, like under the executive summary, where it says what the plan provides for, it says the automatic ascension of the deputy director to the position of executive director when the executive director is removed by death, permanent medical leave, retirement, resignation, or separation. It also then incorporates policies of what to do for short-term, moderate-term, and extended absences, for illnesses, that, like I was out for about 8 weeks several years ago for hip replacement surgery. And there's several day-to-day operational things that have to happen, particularly with HUD. And some of them have to only come from the ED's computer. And so this provides the authority then for the person that's named to take over those and have no disruption of services, for us. This plan, however, adds in something we have not had before, which would be creating an executive leadership transition plan, which would be the nitty-gritty, the step 1, step 2 kind of issues of who do we notify in HUD about what position we're in right now, if it's a short-term, long-term, et cetera. Who is the contact information at the bank? Are there any changes that need to be done at the bank, level? what other things, right now, I approve both Lindsay and Cindy in the HUD secure programs to be able to have access to them. There's different areas, the enterprise income verification system and some other areas, and to give them their roles that they're allowed to have. Well, if I'm not able to do that, they can't do that. So there needs to be someone who's authorized to be able to make a contact to the field office and provide coordinator level responsibilities to Lindsay so that the day-to-day operations of what has to go on through those systems can continue to occur. This authorizes that ability. The notebook that's envisioned here is something that the president of the commission and the deputy director and the executive director would always have handy and would look at every 6 months, just because things change with HUD. Do we need to update a contact information? Do we need to whatever? But that's sort of the go-to manual of, okay, we've just gone into, one of these levels, Clint's on permanent medical leave. Now, what do we do? And how do we make it happen without it affecting how we deliver services and the residents and so on? So hopefully this is the last rewrite I will need to do on this one.
There's just a few things. One, these are public policies, so do you have to put any, you don't ever have to put them through public hearing or anything like that?
Say it again?
Public hearing?
For
any of your policies, so you don't
No.
have to do any of that, okay.
No, that's not
Secondly,
required.
it all makes sense.
Let me back up. There are a couple of policies by HUD that, like our 5-year plan, our annual plan, those items require public hearings, but normal policies don't require. Yeah.
And this being one of the board's policies, it's nothing against Lindsay, but it just seems that we might just say the deputy just takes over the executive position. I'm trying to find where we make that determination, or if we decide to advertise or recruit.
Where you would find that,
Retirement or termination area.
yeah, under suspension of the executive director and under retirement or termination, determination of the executive director.
So it should be the deputy director is elevated in a temporary position to the executive director. The language is the deputy director is elevated to the position of the executive director. So, I don't, so that makes that you believe this may be a permanent decision.
Well, that has been the will of the previous commissions, over my tenure here. So I just built upon, what was previously directed.
Yeah, well, I just, again, I come from a different organization that you don't, it just doesn't pass, you just don't pass the baton.
There are
It's a
several.
determination,
Yeah, there are several housing authorities that do that just because of the regulatory atmosphere and the necessity of continuing day-to-day operations. And in fact, when we were going through our due diligence for the RAD conversion, we had to have a succession plan that was accepted by SENAR.
I'm not saying that the deputy director can't be considered for that, but here's a scenario in which maybe your executive director is being terminated, and the deputy director may have some difficulties as well. So it's like, so you've just elevated somebody to eliminate them.
You always have the authority, if you're terminating an executive director for cause, and you have background to say that the deputy director was involved or any other staff member, you always have the authority to make the terminations based upon the information that you have. You know, so I mean, that's never ruled out, so.
Yeah, I'm just looking at process.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't automatic, so
Yeah.
I automatically put that person in that position. Now I have to go through the process of possibly eliminating there. And then putting somebody in that position, it says in here too that they will get that same compensation too. Just as a policy, I just see some
Maybe
holes.
I'm off base here, but I sort of view it as the succession plan for the presidency of the United States. Whereas if a president is removed or resigned, the vice president automatically comes up. If he or she was complicit in any problems, then it would continue down the lane.
Is that clear in here?
It is to me.
Okay, all right.
Further comments, anyone?
I see, I think Karen is reading, here, in 9.1.3, it says that negotiations shall address compensation, so it isn't an automatic to Clint's level, but I don't disagree with the rest of it.
Anybody else want to make a comment? If not, may we move to the adoption of the resolution? All those in favor, aye? Aye. Aye. Opposed?
Everyone said aye?
Heard that. Clinton and Church are on the hot seat. Do you have any reports for us?
Nothing beyond the information that I have been provided. That I provided in the documentation. We are still working on making the changeovers internally through the RAD conversion. That always seems to be a glitch right after we fix a glitch, another glitch comes up, you know. But you know, we're getting there. The office will not be functioning as an office, as I stated, beginning right now, knock on wood somewhere, June, let's see, 13th. And the anticipation is that we will be back in our office on July 8th. Now, as you know, construction can go quicker or slower. We are setting up one of the 2-bedroom units in Harborview as a temporary office. It's small compared to the footprint we take right now, so that things that need to be done on site can continue. So we're moving our copier down there, extending a cable for our server down there, so things like check cutting, you know, which need to be done on site, can occur there. If there's meetings that need to take place, like a recertification interview that Lindsay needs to do, there are arrangements for that to happen, hopefully down in the community room kind of thing. So we've made some accommodations to make use of a smaller space, but we'll be working remotely like we did during the pandemic until we can get clearance to come back in. I will be coming up several times just to see how things are going on with the progress, you know, of the work. We're not doing anything in the file room. There's no carpeting replacement, no painting or anything, simply because of the required security on our files. There is no easy way to move those files and maintain the level of security that we need to allow workers in to do the work. So we figured the paint looks good and carpet looks good, and just leave that, you know, alone. If Lindsay needs to take resident folders home, we have a system that was developed during the pandemic of how they're checked out, and she never takes a whole file. She just takes the portion she has to work on for recertification. Most of that can be done online. Our new phone systems allow us to be always accessible. It rings on our cell phone and not just on our desk phone. So residents are able to get a hold of us. The maintenance guys will be there all the time. The work order line now with the new phone system, they leave a message and automatically the phone system then goes out to all three maintenance guys get a phone call on their cell phone. Plus, I and the maintenance guys and I think Lindsay and Luann get an email that there's been a voicemail come in left over for the a work order. So we're always able to attend to those items. Hopefully we can get back sooner than July 8th, but we'll see. They're getting ready to take care of outside matters now around Harborview. The parts have come in so that the air conditioners that were taken out of a resident's unit under the old window style can now be installed using the new window style. And we've been going through and getting those installed for people as the weather plays up and down with us. There are people who need their air conditioning. So that seems to be going quite well. We're still waiting, last I heard, to get the electrical panels that are needed over at Century Terrace so that work can be done there. They're trying to do everything that they possibly can in units that are already vacant, just to keep using up time and be ready to move forward with things. But we're still on hold until we get those electrical panels in and they can start the rewiring with that. But everything is on paper, on target, and as soon as we can get those electrical panels in, we're going to be, good to go.
What's being done in the offices? Just paint, carpet?
There's going to be painting. We chose not to change the carpeting because to do the carpeting, you have to, the desk systems that we got from Custer office, they're steel case off brand, but they're attached to the wall, and if we take them off or anybody else takes them off, then it's removes the lifetime warranty on the parts and stuff. And it just seemed too expensive to have them come in and disassemble things and then reassemble everything. And the carpets are good, so we're going to get professional cleaners in when they're all done to clean the carpeting. If you've been in the office, the area in front of the copier, that sort of general area there, I keep on, is it a laminate that's being put down? Yeah. We're putting down a laminate, and if you've seen pictures like at Harborview, the laminate's put down, that's the same laminate that's gonna put down there, because that's a high traffic area, and that's where you really see the trails, for that, and it's gonna go right down the hallway in front of the file room and such. There's a window that was built into Cindy's office that it didn't line up the way it was supposed to line up, so there could be visual sight of what was going on in the open area for working with our residents. So that's going to be covered up and sealed up. And the area, like there's an opening right next to the copier to go into the front area. We're going to block that off because there's just been times that there's stuff going on in the office space while someone is working with one of our residents, that the noise is too loud and makes it hard for those who have difficulty hearing to hear, the residents to hear what's being said. So we're sealing that off to reduce the noise with that. Let's see, there was something else. Oh, we have never been able to get the furnace, the HVAC system, to balance in our offices. And so what they're gonna do is put, like in the community rooms, those units up against the wall, so that the 3 offices against the wall can be controlled by their own individual units. And then we're better able to balance the open area, the area where we work with residents, and the conference room, and the furnace and the air conditioner will be focused on those areas, and the balancing should be better.
Yeah, but you got, well, your offices are at all west windows,
Yeah,
so, you know, and everybody else is inside, so you're out there, the sun beating in half the time, or if it's cold and wind blowing
yeah.
in the winter, it's,
Did I forget anything that we talked about being done there?
I don't think you got it.
Okay, so yeah, that's, you know, what we're planning on doing.
Ladies, got anything?
I don't have anything to report.
How about our audience?
Already? I just had a quick question on, because I have been, because people know that I'm gonna be coming on commission. There was a death at Harborview,
Mm-hmm.
and the person had been deceased for a while. Does that get reported to the commission? Do we get updates on situations like that, or how is that handled?
That's a private matter under the Privacy Act, and it's between the family of the deceased and the public. It's not for us to make announcement that someone had died, because we're not allowed to go into units unless we have a police officer with us or provide adequate notice. Yeah, so it's not a matter of public record.
Well, I mean, it is, because the police went there, and that's.
They can make reports on that. We don't have the authority under the Privacy Act to make that kind of report, that so-and-so
There's no,
died.
within the building, there's no, wellness checks, no knock on the door. I haven't seen somebody for 4, 5, 6 days.
No, if a wellness check wants to be done, there's a couple ways of doing it. Well, actually, one way is either to call the police on their call the police office and ask for a wellness check, or call the non-emergency line of Central Dispatch and say that, you know, someone's requesting a wellness check. Now, we do that too when we're alerted that so-and-so hasn't been seen for a while. A resident will tell us they haven't seen someone, or a family member may call up and say, you know, I've called and I haven't been able to get a hold, you know, of my sister or brother or uncle or grandfather. And then I explained the wellness check, and then we call in and ask for a wellness check, and the police are rather quick on coming over.
Understand that very quick on this.
Yeah, and so then when they arrive, their authority enables us to open the door per state law, and they go in, announce themselves, and so on.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That was my question. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Commissioners, everybody got anything to say? Oh, if the rest of them don't. How many units do we have rehabbed?
I need Kevin here for that. I think we have, what?
Is it going well?
Oh, it is. They're doing the last stack at Harborview, which has 6 units in it.
The O2s. So, yeah, so it's, not one on the first floor, so it's only 4 units.
So we have 4 units, so down to the last 4 units at Harborview. And they're getting ready then to work on the community areas, which are gonna be the hallways, the community dining room, library, lounge area. And then on the outside, you know, of the building, we have doors that need to be, you know, replaced and stuff. They're already working at Century Terrace, as I mentioned, but we can't get anywhere near completion until we get the electrical panels for the units. But Harborview will be done definitely on time, but it's still up in the air. And Mishta has been extending the deadlines for the tax credits, all because of the supply chain issues. We're not the only one who has, deadlines of completing the project that are suffering from not getting the supplies that are required to get them in. So we're holding off to make application to extend, but we want something more certain than a constantly shifting date from the provider of the electrical panels. That every 2 weeks we hear, well, you'll get it a week from this Monday, and that's what's 2 weeks later, and then it keeps on, going back and stuff. And they even have the gall to send the construction manager a projected ship date that they know they're going to change. So unfortunately, we can't really do a whole lot at Century Terrace until we get those in.
They haven't moved anything yet then, have they, as far as the electrical?
No, they can't. And
Stuff
yeah, and we haven't moved any residents at Century Terrace out of their units, have we?
Yes.
We have?
Yep,
So they have vacant units in those stacks, okay?
yes, all
Right.
those units, I
Yeah.
want to say 29, 27.
Okay.
Stack is vacant.
So what they can do then in those stacks is work on the remodel in the units and the plumbing, but they can't do any of the rewiring until then. But so they should be able to get, moved ahead by getting that much done. But the electrical wiring is going to take a bit on that. But we can't, I'm not sure if we're able to go on to the second set of stacks and still not have electrical panels or not. So I'll raise that at our Thursday construction meeting to find out if they have a plan to get around that. So.
Well, one other thing, this is Doug's last meeting officially, and I want to thank him for all his friendship.
You're not.
You were 10 years old.
It's not that way then. Close.
I
Much
met
younger
this
than I am
kid.
here.
Yeah, well, we all are. I met this kid, he was on the library steps on the street sale day, selling used books with a librarian. My God,
About
that was
110 years ago.
centuries ago.
It was a century ago, at least, yeah.
It was a long time ago, and thank you for your
Yep.
friendship.
Yep.
Good luck to you.
We're there.
Okay, move to adjourn.
So move.
Okay, we are. See you next month.
Time to get on another committee, right?
Karen, we are running for reelection.
Yes, I am.
Well, you know where the yard is, you
Yes.
know where to put the sign.
Luckily, I'm unopposed.
Yes. Hopefully you won't get beat.
If I lose this time,
You're done then, Jamie. That's it.
And I'm going to have a new commissioner, and I asked, or a new city council, and I asked the old one why he retired, he says he wants to travel. So that's it.
So Dave isn't running? Dave-
He has a big thing.
Oh, Matt, oh, Mickey, oh, yeah.
Five, District
Okay,
Five.
I thought Dave, because he was my district, because they're all asking, because he was up in the air for a while.